everybody, it's been a while. I am so excited to be back in the craft room and talking about my knitting. It took everything in me to not record last week. And I don't know why. I thought, well, I said I wouldn't record for a couple of weeks, so I'm not going to. This was finished. Anyway, before I get too far, let me introduce myself. My name is Beth. I am a knitter from the north suburbs of Chicago, and I work as a paraprofessional. And my summer this year, I used to do extra knitting and posted my stuff on YouTube, and that's how this whole thing started. So my details of where you can follow me are up somewhere. And the reason I'm flaunting this skein of yarn around is because on last week's episode, I said that this would belong to someone new once I got all the comments sorted out from my last video. So I have not yet done that because today is actually the deadline for that. So I want to give you guys until the end of the day today. So my plan is I'm going to draw the name tomorrow. So this will go to the one of you that I randomly draw tomorrow, because I want to give people until the end of the day today, and I didn't think I would have time to record a whole podcast tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll draw the name, I'll put that name right here, edit it into the video, and publish it for the world to see. If your name is here, please contact me to give me your address so that I can send this to you. You can reach me at PandemicKnittr@gmail.com or on Instagram at PandemicKnittr. And just a recap of what this is. This is Desert Vista Dye Works. It is in the Eau Clark colorway, which is from Christmas Vacation. So one of my favorite Christmas movies. And it is a self-striping yarn. It is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And somebody's going to be the lucky new owner of this. So contact me if your name is here. Next up, finished objects. I am wearing my cardigan that I knit at, well, I cast it on at the Frivolous and Frugal 3-Ply Podcast meetup, which was the last weekend in July, and I finished it in August. I knit a sweater in a month. That's unheard of for me. This thing was just a joy to knit. I think I had one mistake that I didn't even care about. Like, even when I realized that I had done it, I was like, who cares? So, anyway, I'm so ecstatic to have this finished. I did a twirl with it this morning. That'll go in right here. And I will say that I feel like my gauge was a little tight for it. I don't remember. I'm sure on a previous episode I talk about what I did to compensate for that, and it's a tiny bit small, but I mean, when I wear a cardigan, usually it's because my arms are cold, not because my belly is cold. I mean, I can overlap it in front if I want to, It's, kind of a stretch, but I'm not going to care about that while I'm at work. And this will keep me warm. Anyway, this sweater was knit in Direful yarns, Direful DK base, which is, I think it's 100% superwash. Yes, it is. And it is in the colorway Stormy Skies. I don't know if she still makes that, but if you like it, check her out. Anyway, I do have a lot of it left over because I was planning to do a different sweater with it. So that sweater didn't work out because I felt like the colorway and the texture didn't go together. So anyway, I'm excited to have this done. I've already debuted it at work. People saw me knitting the sleeves on my breaks, and then they saw me wearing it a few days later and said, "Hey, isn't that?" And I was like, "Yes, it is." So yes, I got many kudos on it already. So it's, you know what? I don't care if nobody else notices it. I just love it for myself. I love cardigans. I love pullovers. I love sweaters. When I was a kid, I'm like teenager. Do you remember that store Benetton? I just loved going in that store. It was all sweaters. That was like my favorite thing, and they were super expensive. And I mean, nothing compared to buying yarn and knitting it yourself. But I think back then it was probably cheaper to buy the yarn and knit it yourself. Anyway, I just loved that store. I remember, Mom, if you're watching, skip ahead a little bit because I'm going to say something about you. One time my mom bought me a sweater that had mohair in it. And so I think it was mohair. Anyway, it was like, it had all this fluff on it that it made it so soft and fuzzy, and just, I loved that about it. And my mom had gotten a sweater shaver, and she shaved all of the extra fluff off of my sweater. And I was like, no, why did you do that? Anyway, yeah, she got me that sweater for Christmas, and that it's fine. I'm sure I wore it after that too. It was a beautiful sweater. I can't remember anything about the sweater except that. Okay, enough about the olden days. Let's get on to what's new. I have a whip that I am excited to share with you. I started swatching. Is it considered a whip if you're just swatching? Anyway, I started swatching for Vesper with a Twist. It is a pattern by, I don't know if it's pronounced Thea or Thea Colman, also known as Baby Cocktails. And I showed this yarn. I bought this while I was out in Wyoming. It is a blend of alpaca and merino, well, some kind of wool. It's a 50-50 blend, and it is in the natural color of the animals. So here is my swatch. Now, I'm going to take those silly stitch markers off it because that was what I was using to help me count stitches. what I had to do, because this is in a cable, is I had to go back to the chart to count how many stitches it was, because I'm trying to count the stitches in a cable is really, really hard. So this is the lovely texture that this thing will be. Now, what I would say about this is it is, I'm off gauge. I did not get gauge. And you can see that I did do like the knitting in the round thing to gauge swatch. And then, of course, later I thought to myself, oh, I know what I should have done. Because the way this sweater is the cable, the whole cable pattern is on the front of the sweater. And the back is stockinette. And so you're supposed to swatch for both the stockinette and the texture. And there are different gauges, of course. So if I had just done it the same as what the sweater is, I wouldn't have had to cut the ends like this. Duh. Anyway, I have to re-swatch. I can't reuse this swatch. I'm going to have to go to this. So I hope I have enough yarn. I'm sure I will. I'm not worried about it. This, oh, I didn't say, this is from Nerdy Sheep Fiberworks. It is a yarn that I bought in Wyoming at Cowgirl Yarns. When I was out at their yarn shop, she had a trunk show there. So I don't know if they carry any of this, but it's a great yarn shop. Cowgirl Yarns is like, they have a great selection. They are very helpful. Love them. Love them. My husband and I are talking about possibly moving out to Wyoming someday in retirement. And so it's good to know that there is a great yarn shop right there in Laramie. I know there are other yarn shops in other parts of Wyoming, so I have to do some more research. Anyway, that's Vesper with a twist. I will be re-swatching. We'll see what happens from there. I'm so excited to cast this on. Another textured thing. I love this. I love this. I love this. Okay. Next whip. I swatched. This is my swatch for another pullover, another textured pullover, the Ingrid sweater, and it is by Petite Knit. And this is in Barnyard Knits. It's a DK base. The colorway is called A Walk in the Woods. And I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but this part and this part were single. And here I added Kidsilk Haze in the colorway Fern. So my plan with this, because I don't have enough Kidsilk Haze, which is a Rowan yarn, by the way. I shouldn't just assume everybody knows. Anyway, it's a silk mohair. And what I plan to do is hold that double through the body and the sleeves, but leave the cuffs and the neckband and the hemline just single. So that way I'm hoping that my mohair will reach everything. And even if I have to stop at the elbows, that's fine. I like I said, I don't know if you can tell. I can barely tell looking at it in person. It's got that, it's got that softness to it. But I don't think I almost don't think anybody would notice if it wasn't in the neckband and the cuffs. So it should be fine. It should be great. I'm so excited to cast this on. This also didn't get gauge. So back to the drawing board, and of course, probably could have done it in the round for real. You know, I did that fake in the round where you pull the yarn around. And I also thought, like, when I looked at the chart in the pattern, I thought, oh, I could have done this differently, because it has like the X diamond type shapes like my free sweater has. Speaking of which, I think I've said everything I need to say about this. So let's move on to free, which has had a lot of progress. Free is a pattern that comes from Rowan magazine number 71, and it is a cardigan by VB Ulrik, and I am knitting it in cotton cashmere by Rowan, in the colorway Seed. The one thing I just love about this pattern, and if you've been a regular viewer, you've heard it time and time again, I just love this texture. Look at this thing. Oh, I just want to wear it over and over and over again. I did a twirl in this as well this morning. It is finally at the point that I can actually try it on. I have sewn up the shoulders, so that is complete. I used mattress stitch to do it, and I kind of tried to make it not as visible as seams I've done in the past. So I don't know if you can see where that seam, yeah, you can see that on here. So right in here is where my shoulder seam is. So I like how this turned out a lot better than some other sweaters that I have shown on here in the past. So I'm happy with how I did it. So there's the other shoulder. I really like it. Yay. I will say right in here, because of short rows, the double seed stitch did not turn out as double seeded, if that makes any sense, as it should, because, you know, when you're binding off and doing different things, it kind of messes with what you're doing from one stitch to the next. So I'm not thrilled about that, but it doesn't sour me on the whole look of the sweater. So I feel like I've gotten into a groove with the sleeves. I'm doing the sleeves 2 at a time, so that's moving along. Okay, you follow charts, and so it tells you to follow the chart for this cable on the sleeve, and the chart is for, how do I want to say this? The sweater was worked bottom up. And so if you're doing bottom up, the shape of this cable, here, let me show. Okay, so this is right side up. So the V shape kind of goes upward, whereas on the sleeve, the V shape goes downward if you're following the cable as it is in the pattern. But when I look at the finished object on the model, they have it the other way. So they reversed the cable to go down the sleeve. I don't care. I think, I mean, it's the same thing, just a different direction, and it's fine with me. I thought about it, like, as I was starting that first one, I was like, is this gonna be backwards? I you know, in my head, I'm trying to sort it out, like, what is this gonna look like? And I just thought, as I was starting it, I thought, I don't really care. So either way, it looks like a cable and it does that same sort of effect. So whatever. It's texture. I love texture. As long as my double seed stitch looks good around the arm and I have a nice cable in the middle and hopefully it all comes out evenly, that's the plan. I know both sleeves will look the same because I'm doing them 2 at a time. So when I stop on one, I make sure to try to, like, if I am going to do a round that's a decrease, I make sure that I do both sleeves in the same sitting. If I'm going to do a round that's a cable, I do both sleeves in the same sitting, just because I don't want to have to think too much about it and be off with what I'm doing. So they'll be the same even if, like, I do, because I will say this. On the body of the cardigan, the cables in this coincided with the twists in this. So that helped a lot. I did not have to put stitch markers in or anything. On the sleeves, it's different. On the sleeves, there's nothing, I mean, I'm doing double seed stitch. So there's nothing to help remind me along the way. So what I'm doing is when I do my cable, I put a stitch marker in, and then I know that counting 6 from that will be my next cable row. So some of the early ones might be a little shorter or a little longer than that. I don't know, because I wasn't keeping track at first and I thought I'll be able to figure this out. It's harder than it looks. For those of you who may be wondering if I fixed that cable I talked about last time, haven't done it yet. So, as I said in the last episode, I will be watching Roxanne Richardson's episode where she talks about how to fix a miscrossed cable, and hopefully that will fix it. I will give you an update when I do that. That's this sweater. I am still so excited about it. I am having a lot of fun with it. I can't wait to get it off the needles and wear it to school, and hoping that nobody does anything messy to it at school. I will take it off if we're painting. And if we're messing with bleach, then somebody should be talked to, because kids should not mess with bleach. Anyway, that's Free by VB Ulrik. I have one more whip. Okay, so this is my lovely project bag with a handle that I tried to walk with. Didn't work so well. And I think I've shown these socks before. This is just, I'm using my regular vanilla sock recipe that I use, which It's been so long since I have worked on socks at all that I don't even, like, I think I do 12 rounds of 2x2 rib. I don't know. And then I do a bunch on the leg. You can see I've marked it. But the reason I'm bringing this out now is because now that I'm done with the sleeves on this, I am at school on my breaks. This is what I work on. So I would anticipate these socks are going to be finished pretty soon. These are in Western Sky Knits Sparkle something base. I'll put it on here. I might not even have the labels anymore. But anyway, wait. Is it in here? Nope, not in the bag. Anyway, it's a fingering weight yarn. It's in, there's some stellina in it and stuff like that. It is wool and stellina. There's no nylon in it. When I get to the heels, when I get to the foot period, the heels, and I'm just going to do the whole foot. I'm going to hold it double with nylon thread just because I want that that sturdiness in it. So we'll see if that works. That might be a little annoying. I'll let you know. So I anticipate these to go fairly quickly doing this on breaks at work, because I have breaks every day. And the teacher that I work with is very good about reminding me to go on my breaks, because I am one who will just stay there, because this year I am working one-on-one with a student who literally cannot be left alone. If I walked away, bad things would happen. So, anyway, gonna go through this quickly. I'll have a new pair of socks to wear through the winter, and I'm excited about that. I'm actually at a point that I have enough socks that I can get through an entire week wearing my knit socks. So that's good for winter. And I do laundry more often than once a week. So at least if I'm continuing to knit socks, I can afford to get holes in socks and, have time to fix them, and it'll be great. As far as new to me, I ordered something. I'm excited about that. I ordered Chicken Lady Fibers. Is that it? Chicken Lady Fiber Arts? I doubt there's multiple Chicken Ladies out there. So look for Chicken Lady. She makes yarn in beautiful colorways. Her name is Lynn. And I ordered her advent calendar. I was so excited. So now I have both on order, the PandemicKnittr and the Chicken Lady. And I also have, over on this shelf somewhere, a stitch marker set that I ordered from Fleece and Harmony. So I believe that both PandemicKnittr and Chicken Lady, they're 12-day advents, and I believe they're both DK weight. So who knows? Maybe I can combine those and make something special, but they both are coming with a pattern. So we'll see. Do I go with the pattern they come with? I'm not big on mysteries. And That's funny to say for me because lately I have been feeling serious FOMO about the Stephen West knit along. I have been seeing all the posts on Instagram for, oh, look at, here's a combination of colors you can use. And I'm like, that's really pretty. I could do that. And I know I shouldn't. I even looked at the Stephen and Penelope website at their combinations, and I was like, ooh, this one's reasonably priced. I don't do mystery knit-alongs. I don't do knit-alongs, period. Speaking of knit-alongs, I keep forgetting to mention this. Okay, another thing just popped into my brain. But coming up in January, there will be a multi-podcast knit-along. I believe Frivolous and Frugal, 3-ply podcast, Knits and Pieces, Dude Knits, Got Whips, myself, PJ Knits, and I hope I didn't miss anyone. If I did, I'll put it here. I believe all of us are doing a knit along together. So stay tuned for details on that. That'll be starting in January of 2023. So it'll be the first knit along that I actually am a co-host of. So that's exciting. I don't know how that works. I'm going to have to talk to people. We have not solidified any details, but I'm excited about it. Do you guys like to do knit-alongs? I kind of like to do knit-alongs, but I don't like deadlines, so I feel like whips should count. Ooh. Am I speaking out of turn? Anyway, I think that's all I have for today. So, I cannot promise when I will be uploading again. With the excitement and enthusiasm that I have, who knows? Maybe I'll jump in next week and load another video on YouTube for you to watch. Hopefully you find me entertaining enough that even if I don't have a hell of a lot to knit, I am talking and entertaining you. So, thank you for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you for whatever duration you decide to endure me for. And I will see you next time. Bye.